Okay, so this is Practitioner Sunday. And I was a practitioner for 7 years, and I always wanted to get up and speak, or I wanted to grow. And so when I became a minister, one of my values was that I want my practitioners to grow. And what I have found is not only do they grow, but they are so wise. They put in correction on me all the time. And I like it. I like it because I have to grow too. So we have this wonderful relationship of exchanging wisdom. So today, not only is Candace online, but she also has a nice little video for us that she's already prepared. So Candace is in St. Lucia's? St. Lucia Island, and it's a long ways away. And so she's prepared this earlier for us. So her talk is on relationship, and then at the end we'll get to see her live. Okay, so let's go ahead.
Good morning. This month we've been talking about relationships and all different types of relationships. And, usually when I'm given a title, a talk title, I think about it for a little while and I take a couple of notes and I come up with it. Well, this time I've been having a really difficult time because I was thinking about the relationships and I titled it The Most Important and Most Difficult Relationship. And I've written 3 or 4 different talks, and none of them came together properly. And so I thought about it, and I thought, here I've been saying the most difficult. Ernest Holmes teaches us that to change our thinking, we change our life. And so I've changed my thinking about this relationship. This is not the most difficult. It's actually the easiest and most beautiful relationship that we have. When I realized I was having so much trouble, I decided to go into my wonderful God-given toolbox of God qualities and pull out the quality of trust. And so I am trusting, without taking all my notes and stuff, I am trusting Spirit to speak through me, to say what I need to say. And so here goes. I think the most important and most beautiful, wonderful relationship is the relationship with myself. I'm not talking about my little self. That's the ego. And that can go take a nap for a while. I'm talking about the capital S in self, that self that is so connected with Spirit, that self that is Spirit. Rumi says, your task is not to seek love, but mainly to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. And that really made me stop and think, what are the barriers that I have built within myself that keep me from connecting, totally connecting and becoming one with Spirit and with love? I thought about it and I thought, the easiest way to go about it was to go to my toolbox and look at some of the answers, and that would bring the questions. So one of the wonderful tools in the toolbox is acceptance. And I realize acceptance is for judgment. Oh, I judge myself, I'm too heavy, I'm too thin, I'm too old, I'm too this, I'm too that. Oh my God, how can I be so stupid? I do it all the time. Sometimes my friends catch me and go, don't do that. But I realize as I am judging myself, I tend to judge others, and vice versa. As we are mirrors for each other, I realized that when I am judging others, I am judging myself. So here comes acceptance, this wonderful tool of acceptance. God accepts me just exactly the way I am. No questions asked. God simply accepts me just exactly the way I am right here and right now. And as He accepts me right here and right now, He accepts each and every one of us just exactly the way we are. God sees us as perfect. God sees us as love. God sees us all as one. Another tool from the toolbox is compassion. Right now, when I look out in the world, there are days where I want to cry. I just want to cry because of the cruelty that we are playing upon each other. And I ask myself, am I being cruel to anyone? Or am I holding the world in compassion? Am I holding others in compassion? Compassion and love and understanding. There are so many differences between us, and yet there are more likenesses than there are differences. And so, compassion and understanding are so vitally important. I need to understand myself as well because I'm growing, I'm changing every day. Every day I become a little bit different. Every day I have different things that come up in my life that I need to work with. Am I being compassionate with myself? Am I being understanding of myself? Am I being compassionate with what I've been through, what I'm going through, what my fears are? Compassion and understanding bring me closer to spirit, closer to that connection, closer to that love, closer to the oneness that is all of us. Trust is a big, big gift. It's one of the biggest, best tools in the toolbox, I think. It's just allowing ourselves to trust. I know that the universe wants only the very best for me. I know that the universe wants only the very best for each and everybody on this planet. And it is our acceptance and our understanding of this that makes it so. When I trust and I accept the abundance of the universe, when I look at myself and I realize I deserve all good things in my life. When I look at you and I realize you deserve all the good things in your life, you deserve blessings and miracles every day. I deserve blessings and miracles every day. And so I accept this abundance of life, this abundance of love, because I don't want any barriers to that love. We all have our own idiosyncrasies and we all have our differences, but we all have the same love. We all have the same needs and desires and wants. And so I know that it is my differences and my idiosyncrasies that make me a unique individual. It is what makes each and every one a unique individual. And it is these idiosyncrasies and differences that I celebrate. I celebrate them within myself. I celebrate them within each and every one of you. I celebrate the light that I am, the light that you are. I look at these new pictures from the James Webb telescope, and I am so in awe of the magnificence of this universe that I am a part of and is a part of me. I am that. I am. That is who we are. When I see those beautiful stars of all these different colors and sizes, and it just amazes me. And I realize that is who I am. I am a light. I am one of the lights in this universe. And as I see that in myself, I see that in each and every person that I come in contact with. I need to remember that I am a unique individualized, magnificent expression of the divine. We all need to remember this. We all need to remember the truth of who we are. We are love, and love needs no barriers. I release the barriers that keep me from love. I accept love. I am grateful for love. And so I have a little bit of homework for us. You know how when you have that very special person in your life, the one you absolutely adore, and you look deep, deep, deep into their eyes? Well, I'd like you to do that to yourself. I would like you to take the time to look deep into your own eyes and see the magnificence and the beauty of who you are. I would like for you to look in your eyes and say out loud, I am a unique, individualized, magnificent expression of the divine. Remember, the mind that created this awesome cosmos is the mind that created us. Thank you very much.
Online. That was pretty amazing, Candace. You want to show us your beautiful face? I know you're over there. Signing autographs. Okay. So she's busy. We'll get to her later, okay? And who's there you are. Nice job, Candace. Really nice job. Yay. Look at her. Okay. Oh, we thought you were signing autographs. You know, I mean, that was pretty amazing. Be in two places at once. I mean, you've done it. We've all wanted to do that. So. Quantum physics is real. All right, so I'm going to now give the stage to both Jody and Mary. Let's welcome both of them up. You come up here.
Thanks. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, Candace. That was amazing. I was looking deep into your eyes as you were speaking. So, the theme for this year has probably been restated every Sunday all year is living everyday wonder. And this month we've been talking about relationships. So when I saw the title of the talk today, the one and only, I just thought, I do not know where I'm going to go with that. I have no idea. And when Candace and Jody and I spoke, was it Monday or I think we spoke on the phone Monday and or Zoom or something, and they were saying, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and I was still like, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. And as often happens, when I sort of sit with something, I begin to live it, you know? And I really started to live this theme about relationships this week. And it's been a hell of a year for me, I'll tell you. It's been a hell of a few years, but this year there's been a lot of big stuff going on. And not even so much in my life, but in people that are near and dear to me, people that I love. Have been through life-threatening medical crises, life-changing, things health-wise, and that I saw my brother who is, had a big change in his life, and I saw him last weekend. Brought my mom to see him. Brought her to get her hair done, which was really cute, and she was all dolled up. And I brought her and my dad to see my brother. And one of my best friends had surgery on Monday for breast cancer. She had a mastectomy, and there's just been a lot going on around me, and I have to remind myself I'm not the one going through this, but I love these people. And what I realized is that the nature of our relationships are changing. And it's really brought a lot of stuff up for me about that. And I think I've shared this little meme that I'm going to show right now before, but every time I see it, it just makes, it's me. So what people think spiritual awakening feels like and what it actually feels like. Felt like my head was on fire. My eyes were gouged out this week. But yeah, that's, we don't have to look at that all day. So, when I'm talking today about the one and only, my first thought is like romantic relationship. Oh, the one and only, my soulmate, my whatever, That's not really what I'm feeling called, what I felt called to talk about this week. And there's so many relationships that we are in our lives. We're in relationship with family. We're in relationship with friends, coworkers, children, naturally, romantic partnerships. We're in relationship with the lady we're standing next to at the grocery store or the bank teller. We are in relationship with everybody and everything. And the primary relationship that we have in our lives is our relationship with God. And as Candace talked about, the relationship with self. And our relationship with ourself really is our relationship with God. Sophia talked about our oneness with all of life, our oneness with the divine and with all of life. And when we look at our relationship with ourself, it is indeed a relationship with the divine. So we can't claim to love God if we hate ourselves. And I haven't felt like I hated myself or loathed myself, but I have noticed that some of my habits of self-care have been slipping, So I kind of refocused this week especially on self-care, taking care of my body, taking better care of my spiritual connection, my spiritual life, taking better care of my emotions and my mental health. I've had people talk about food prep, like, oh, do food prep on Sunday for the week, And I think I, for the most part, eat pretty healthy, but I also eat on the run a lot, And so I found myself yesterday doing food prep. I got out mason jars and I cut up vegetables and I made like a little salad in 4 mason jars so I can take one to work each day this week because Fridays I work from home. And been focusing more on exercise, getting back into exercise, focusing more on drinking lots of water. And just practicing more of my spiritual practice. I went for a walk on the beach on Friday, took my shoes off, got my toes in the sand. I didn't get my feet wet, but got my toes in the sand. I went and had dinner at the restaurant that my daughter works at, which is right along the beach. Just like focusing on the things that are important to me. Because it's so easy for me to say, oh, yeah, I want to go have dinner. You can wait on me and do that someday, And this week I just decided she's important to me. I want to go show her my support. My other daughter was working the teen camp at her church. She's not at a CSL church, but she's very active in her church. She was working at teen camp, and she asked me if I would go pick up some bobas for the teens. And so I said, yeah, sure. So I went and I got 24 bobas. I'm like walking out with these things. But I just felt like I want to invest in these relationships. And, so it's just, we can't have a healthy relationship with others if we don't have a healthy relationship with ourselves. We're not practicing self-care. And the better we care for ourselves, the more we can care for others. And Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers said, if you could only sense how important you are to the lives of those you meet, there is something of yourself that you leave at every meeting with another person. Isn't that true? We impact people in big ways and in small ways. So it's so important just to be aware and conscious of how we are treating people. I work with people who are like at the lowest points of their lives. They're in jail. That's who I work with. And they're struggling with addiction. And I have found myself when I, see these, we call them frequent flyers, people who are just like in this cycle of addiction and incarceration, and they just sort of can't find a way out. I have at times felt like, you're back in jail again? You're in treatment again? But what I've really worked on is to have a different approach. Say, hey, you're back. It's so good to see you. I'm glad you made it back. Isn't that, you see the difference in that? It's a huge difference. One is shame-based, and the other is uplifting, and it's love. So I know that, have you ever had that experience where somebody comes up to you and they say, you said thus and such at one time, or, maybe a long time ago, or my boss even said it this week in our staff meeting. She's like, something that Mary said the other day, whatever, right? So what we say and what we do really does impact people. It leaves a mark with them. We do leave a little piece or a little part of ourselves with them. And most of us have seen this quote before, but it bears repeating, by Maya Angelou. She said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. So for better or worse, people will remember how you made them feel or how they felt. We can't make somebody feel a certain way, but how they felt in your presence, how they felt in response to how you treated them, And, with my family and my friends, and really had to ask myself, am I showing up in a loving way? Because I was this week feeling grief for letting go of the way our relationships used to be. Maybe they'll get back there, but right now I'm being called to show up in service. I'm being called to show up in love, not in this, well, now they can't listen to my bullshit. Excuse me. I guess I shouldn't say that from the pulpit, but, they're not there for me right now. But I am being called to be there for them. because I don't want to feel put out, you know. uh, and and something that I personally have to really be mindful of is my facial expressions. Because how I really feel shows on my face. As much as I think I have a poker face, I don't think. So. That's one of my tasks. And so, great minds think alike, Candace, because the next one is this Rumi quote. Rumi said, "Your task is not to seek for love, but merely seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." You know? There must be something going on here. We all must need to hear this, because it's really like nothing that any of us are saying today is anything you're hearing for the first time, right? But we do need to be reminded of it. We do need to hear the repetition of it. So this is a continuous process. We continue to evolve. We continue to grow, investing in and improving our relationships with the divine, with ourselves, with others. It's all one. It's all the same thing. And, I just feel, I love our, creating your greatest life. I just love that. I think that is what all of this is about right now. We are creating our greatest life through relationship. We're helping others to create their greatest life. And what a gift it is to be in a community like this that just values love and service so much. So I do have an affirmation for us. So let's say this one time. My relationship with everything demonstrates my relationship with God. Again. My relationship with everything demonstrates my relationship with God. One more time. My relationship with everything demonstrates my relationship with God. And so it is. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Jody.
Thank you, Candace. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And yes, I was going to use the same Rumi quote. Speaking of great minds, so today's topic, the CSL summary, I'm going to just read that because I want to make sure we get it. It says that God is all there is. There's nothing that can exist outside of God, since there is no outside of God. Which means that everything and everyone, no matter the external dualistic appearances, is intimately and wonderfully demonstrating a relationship with Spirit. This relationship is either discordant or harmonious by our choosing. Today, let us release how we will choose to show up in this loving and wonderful relationship. So in the discussion points, one of the suggested discussion questions is, yeah, it's all fine and well, but what about those people we don't agree with and we don't like? How do we use this idea of, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world that I don't particularly agree with and that I don't particularly like. It can be very disturbing and very overwhelming. And I would love say all sorts of things in this very short 10 minutes of time that we have. I want to talk about, what I want to talk about today was inspired by Heather McClawley. She has a CD, an audio CD, that's a hard thing to say for me, called The Silent Language of Peace. And there's so much on that. It's about an hour and a half, and it's an absolutely wonderful thing to listen to. I highly recommend you Google it and take a listen to it. So I'm gonna talk about one of the tools that she brought up on, and that is, she refers to a man named Wally Minto, and he talks about this in a book called The Results Book. And the concept is everything is okay. If we just understood that everything was okay, that is the greatest solution to all of our problems. And that might sound very reasonable on a certain scale, but when you look at the whole world's problems, it's like there's a lot of things going on in the world that I don't think are effing okay. At what scale? War and murder and blah blah blah, and I don't need to say what they all. There are a lot of things going on in this world that not appear okay. The only way I can wrap my head around that is Reverend Sherry last week was talking about the cosmic view. And I imagine myself looking at the cosmos from that perspective, above the fray, and looking at the earth and the galaxies, and just on planet Earth, it has been a molten ball, has been a frozen ball. All the continents have been in different locations. In the entire universe, the things that have been going on in the forming of the universe, nothing that's going on right now matters on that scale. But yet, that doesn't mean it doesn't matter. We have to somehow or another navigate our way through this experience of life on life's terms here in the here and now, which is, in reality, the only time that there is. So let's go back to that scale and say everything's okay, and let's not look at the worst case scenario, which is what I usually do. Because if I can't relate it to the worst case scenario, does it mean anything at all? But there's an old Chinese proverb I always bring up that says, if there's peace, if there's love in the person, it goes to honor in the nation and peace in the world. It all begins within, because that really is all there is. There is only the one. And the great thing about going last is you've already said everything, and you already know everything. Everybody here already knows everything. So let's get back to that everything's okay. So Wally says it's okay to have the problem, and it's okay to do something about it. The problem it's okay to have that problem, is when you use this concept, the okay concept, only halfway. And one of the examples is, well, if it's okay, this all sounds fine and good, but if somebody takes unfair advantage of me, is that okay? Sure, that's okay. If you really didn't believe that they were going to take unfair advantage of you, they probably wouldn't. It doesn't guarantee that they wouldn't. But the law of mind says it is done as you believe. So as I really, really believe that something is going to happen, chances are I'm part of that creation. So if I say, well, it's okay for that problem to be happening, I can release the worry, and then the subconscious has a chance to bring up the answer or the solution. It's really, really important to understand that it's okay doesn't keep us stuck in the problem. It allows the solution to come through. And last week, Natasha said so beautifully about what am I called to do? It's about treat and move your feet. But you have to come from that Rumi said, removing all the blocks. So the worry and the fear and the anger and the resentment are the most destructive forces in the world. They stop. It doesn't mean that we don't make progress. It doesn't mean that we don't take action. It means that we take inspired action, because we remove those blocks to the presence of the love and allow that to come up and through. So he says, then the conscious desires or answers have a chance to become a reality. If the problem is not okay, it forces you to keep it in mind and take it into the future. Our only chance is to let it go, stop worrying about it, and let the solutions come. And then we can act on them. Otherwise, we completely block it. So another really important aspect of this is don't use it halfway. If I say it's okay for people to take advantage of me, but it's not okay for me to do something about it, that's using the concept halfway. It has to be okay. Everything has to be okay. And vice versa. You can't say, it's not okay for you to take advantage of me, but it is okay for me to try to do something. It's halfway. You have to use both sides of the equation to get that harmonious balance. Easier said than done. But when we get rid of the worry and all those things that are blocking, allow it to come through, then we are closer to love than what most of us call love. And the truth is that we are love. And the Way of Mastery says, love feels all things, love embraces all things, love allows all things, love trusts all things, and thereby transcends all things. So nothing that is not allowed can be transcended. That's just another way of saying the same thing. And Ernest Holmes says the same thing this way. Dare to speak and to know that what you speak is the law unto the things spoken, regardless of what conditions exist. One alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority. Have enthusiasm, and above all, have a consciousness of love, a radiant feeling flowing through your consciousness at all times. The feeling is the prayer. So whatever you need to do to get back to that feeling of it is so, it is done, it is okay, and I can do something about it. And there we go. Thank you.
Wow. You know, what I love about our practitioners is, well, there's a lot. One is their authenticity. They really say what's on their heart, and you can feel them. So I'm just very grateful that we have this kind of environment where you get to get it all. Get it all. And I think we should give them another round of applause. In addition, Sylvia, too. Yeah.